Okay. Good morning, everyone. Doug Raymond here from the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, and my presentation will talk about Semantic Scholar and our efforts to make it easier to survey the world's academic information. So the key problem that has driven much of our work is it's already been mentioned previously in some of the other panelist discussions, is the exponential growth of academic information, which has doubled according to some authorities every 9 years since World War II, and it's made it more and more difficult to stay on top of different academic domains, especially rapidly moving domains such as artificial intelligence. We're a nonprofit project. Our goal is to serve the common good through AI research and applications such as Semantic Scholar. We currently have indexed over 40 million academic papers across science and biomedical. We certainly hope to expand our domains in the future, but today our focus is really trying to solve some of the core research problems that are an artifact of much of the benefit of research lying embedded inside of PDFs, which are relatively static documents. At a high level, we have a couple major areas of research and engineering. One is to build a comprehensive literature graph across this body of academic research. We have a significant effort to develop new methods for extracting data, charts, citations, and other information from these papers. We also identify the relationships between these entities and try to make those into features which are useful in the academic search and discovery process. And then one of the key efforts we're embarked on now is how do we sort of expand the scope of Semantic Scholar to include additional data types that are relevant to staying abreast of research and getting immersed in a topic. And I will cover that in my next slides and in a quick demo. So one of our key challenges in research is that in order to understand a domain or understand what the state of the art is, requires literature review, which often involves getting into the depths of research findings and results that are buried within PDFs. And so one of our initial efforts is an effort to extract the embedded results, citations, charts, graphs by creating a classifier that looks within these documents and tries to identify and classify which of these elements is mapped to the different entity types. So if you look at some of our initial research in this area, we have a project which is open source called Science Parse that allows you to input a PDF and extract these elements. But extracting the elements is really just the first step for us in terms of creating an experience that allows a researcher to connect the dots, which is one of our sort of internal mottos. So once we've extracted these data types, another key effort is how do we create the entity relations and the graph that allows a researcher to navigate between potentially thousands of different papers to get the key insight and information that is relevant to those topics. So we create our own entity types that allow the aggregation of many papers into themes or topics, which is number one in this slide. We've also worked to do the same in terms of connecting external content such as blogs, slides, or other third-party content to the topic or to specific papers so that a researcher can understand what is the sort of additional discussion or content around that topic or that paper. And then finally, in terms of expanding the scope to additional additional content types, we have efforts to create partnerships and do more sophisticated linkages of these data types with academic topics, and also to make that that process one in which it is easier for a researcher to stay abreast of trending topics or the latest commentary or research in a domain. And so, in addition to creating the graph and the entity relationships to allow this content to be seen together, we are trying to make it more discoverable in terms of how recent is it, who are the most reputable sources of citations or other commentary on that domain. This is just sort of an overview of how we try to integrate this into a discovery experience. So while we do allow search, and that is a key way that people come to Semantic Scholar, really one of our biggest challenges is that we often don't know a priori the research interest of the Semantic Scholar user. They may be looking for a specific paper, or they may be generally interested in a topic and trying to find the most relevant overview of that topic, whether it be an academic paper or potentially a conference proceeding or a video. So I'd like to just quickly give you a walkthrough of how that might work. So this is a view of our website, and you can see that we have a search experience that looks pretty similar to what you'd find on a search engine, but we try to give you a sense of what some of the trending topics might be. And if I were to go in here and see if I can get my mouse to work, enter a topic like information extraction, you can see that in our search results page, we haven't...
Doug, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
It seems like your screen's not updating, so we're still in the rich discovery experience.
I think it's because you're in present mode. So if you go out of present mode, then you'll
okay, let's do that. Okay, let me go over to my demo. Are you able to see the demo now?
We can see your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, let's see. So if I stop sharing, oh, I see. I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share my screen here. Let's try this. How's that?
We're good.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that. This is the Semantic Scholar website, and as I was mentioning, it looks similar to a traditional search experience. But the problem we're trying to solve here isn't just search. So I have an example here of a search for information extraction. And while we do offer traditional search results, we're trying to qualify that with information that would allow you to either zoom in to a specific paper and assess whether it's relevant, or zoom out and look at the topic overall. So in addition to the search results here on the left, you can see that we have navigational tools on the right that allow you to filter by sort of the time frame in which the research was published. This box below it on information extraction shows a topic page and related topics, and below that you can see we've started to integrate third-party content. So if I were to go and click on our topic page, what we've tried to do is using some of the techniques that I mentioned earlier, we have extracted the most, what we believe to be the most relevant documents to this topic that will give you an overview. So you can see that they don't necessarily cluster in any one time frame, but these are the ones that seem to be, according to our techniques, the most useful in understanding the topic overall. So if we were to try and develop a general understanding what the sort of key techniques in information extraction are, we might click on one of these first results, which I've just sort of preloaded, and now we're at a page that gives you an overview of the specific document. So as I mentioned in the earlier part of my presentation, getting to the document itself is actually just an intermediate step to extracting the relevant information within that document. So you notice that we've extracted the topics that this document covers. We've extracted the tables and figures within the documents. And then we've also done some analysis of how influential this document is in terms of the papers that have cited it, so that the researcher can develop an opinion about whether this is reputable or reputable relative to the interests that they have. One of the foundational efforts that Semantic Scholar tackled was trying to understand citation relevance. So within this document, we might want to understand, you know, if it's an influential document, why is it influential, and what other research, what conclusions did other researchers draw based on it? And so within each document, for the citations that have driven further review and further document publication and reading, we've gone through and started extracting and classifying the citations that link back to this document, and you are able to view the text of those citations to understand and develop your own opinion about what research was based on the conclusions of this document. And this is all without reading it. And then finally, if we were to go back to this overview page, you can see that we still have links to additional content such as slides, and in the future we hope to have other types like videos or code libraries that allow you to maybe get an overview. So if I, as a researcher, didn't really want to read the full text of the PDF that was very academic, but I wanted to get more of a presentation that gave me a more generalized understanding, we have it directly linked from the page, so I can go through and maybe develop a generalized understanding before I go back and start reading specific research documents. So with that, I'll conclude my presentation and turn it back over to you.